Okay, so instead of foiling, we're going to go the other way. So this is entirely foiled out. Now we're going to factor and put it back together. So this works when your a value up here is 1. So what times what gives me x squared? X times x. So I'm thinking what times what gives me this, and now I'm going to think what times what gives me this. Two numbers that multiply to give me 15, and add to give me this. Two numbers that multiply to give me 15, and add to give me 8. Oh yeah, it's not 15 and 1. What about 5 and 3? Do those multiply to give me 15 and add to give me 8? Yeah. So plus 3 and plus 5. So there it is factored. Let's try another one here. X and x. Two numbers that multiply to give me 24. And add to give me 11. 6 plus 4 is 10, 24 and 1, 25. 2 plus 12 there is 14. Oh, 3 and 8 there, yeah, 11. So plus 3 and plus 8. And then you got to be careful with the minus here. If you got a minus in the middle, but you got a plus over here, you've got to go ahead and do a minus and a minus. So it's got to be x minus and x minus. So what times what gives us 24 and adds to give us negative 11? That would be a negative 8 and a negative 3. Those multiply. Negative 8 times negative 3 is 24, and negative 8 plus a negative 3 gives us a negative 11. So we have factored those. Let's do a few more of those. Factor these. So again, I'm going to do my two sets of parentheses. X times x is x squared. What times what gives me a positive 8, but adds to give me a negative. So I need a minus and a minus. And I'm thinking 2 times 4, because 2 plus negative 2 plus a negative 4 there will give me a negative 6. All right, next one here. We got x squared plus 2x minus 15. X times x is x squared. Two numbers that multiply to give us a negative 15. So to get a negative, when you multiply, you need a negative and a positive. And then the bigger number in here has to be a 2. Has to be a positive, because that's the way we'll get 2 left over. So when I'm thinking through this, 15 and 1, no, because the difference between those is not 2, it's 14. What about 5 and 3? Yeah, the difference between those will be 2. And the bigger number has to go over here, the 5 has to go here, and the 3 here, because a negative 3x and a 5x adds to give me a negative 2x, or positive 2x. Same thing as next one, x and x. Two numbers that multiply to give me a negative 36 and add to give me a 9. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, I got to have one of each, because a negative times a positive will give me a negative. But we have to get a positive in the middle. So the bigger number is going to have to go over here where the plus sign is. All right, so thinking of two numbers there. Well, 6 and 6. No. What about 9 and 4? No. What about 12 and 3? Yep. 12 times negative 3 there will give me negative 36 and add to give me a positive 9. So 3 has to go here and the 12 has to go here. And then my last one here that I'm going to do, two numbers that multiply to give me a negative 21, made a minus and a plus, and add to give me a negative 4. So this time the bigger number has to go over here. So I'm thinking 7 and 3, because negative 7x plus a positive 3x gives me a negative 4x. Area of a rectangle, area, if you remember how to find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width, or base times height. So they told us the area here is x squared minus 2x minus 35. We want to find the length and the width here. So I'm going to go ahead and just factor this, because that will give me my length and my width. So what times what gives me x squared? X and x. What times what gives me negative 35? So one has to be a minus, one has to be a plus. And adds to give me a negative 2, so the bigger number has to go by the negative. And so if you subtract the two numbers, you need to get 2. So 7 and 5. So with the possible dimensions of the rectangle here, the length and width are x minus 7 and x plus 5. So again, just factoring those down gave me my results there. So continue working there with factoring when your a value is 1.